What's going on, everybody? This is Jimmy, and this is episode 198 of the Horrific Podcast, man. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Um, Always a continuation of the support and love you guys share with us is always so appreciated. Today is a special day because today we officially announced my next film, Haunted by Higby, which will be a documentary film based around the 10 years of Higby Horror Haunt, the Higby Haunt that co-hosts of Campfire Chronicles, Ashley and John, own and produce every year. This year is their 10th year. It's going to be their biggest year. They have 4 haunted houses this year, and I'm looking forward to being able to put this documentary together for them. As kind of a congratulations on everything that has transpired in their 10-year journey to get to where they are. And I am excited for you guys to be able to check it out later on this year. New horror film trailer came out called Countdown, about an app that tells you your death date. It's like that Death Clock website that came out a few years ago. And it's pretty much just taking that Death Clock premise where you get the date and it tells you when you are going to die, and there's not a whole lot you can do once you've received your date other than just kind of wait and die. It looks interesting. It does look like something that I will eventually end up seeing thanks to Regal Unlimited, and why not. I don't expect it to be very high up as far as the best horror movies of the year, but I don't know anymore. It seems like the ones with no expectations always deliver, and setting the bar super high never ends up fully working out. So maybe it'll be outstanding. Who knows? Our haunt season is vastly approaching, very fastly actually, and Higby Productions will be doing 4 of our episodes for us throughout the course of the haunt season. It kicks off, these are the dates, not necessarily the dates that the episodes will air, but these are the dates of where we will be. The 26th, Higby will be at Queen Mary Dark Harbor. The 27th, Not Scary Farm. 28th, Haunted Hayride. Also going on the 28th, a swinging wake in Fullerton, the 50th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion celebration. Oogie Boogie Bash on the 29th. The 3rd to the 4th will be a fun one. The final, the Triple Force Friday, it will be a fun one there. Also on the 4th, we will be screening 3 from Hell at the State Theater. The 5th, Beyond the Gates, the new Snelling Ranch of Horror attraction, now called Beyond the Gates in Merced. Also on the 5th will be Higby Horror Haunt's Scared to Be Aware event, autism charity event. The 11th and 12th, we will be at Higby Horror Haunt. The 13th, Great America Halloween Haunt. The 10th, Ultimate Terror Scream Park. The 17th, Fear Overload Scream Park. The 24th, Pirates of Emerson. The 30th, we are doing a late night showing of John Carpenter's Halloween, and then November 2nd, Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood. So that is kind of the gamut. There's 1 or 2 things that may get added, but that's pretty much what it's looking like this year for our haunt coverage, and I feel like that is a nice slate of people, or of attractions for you. My guest this week is a star of Rob Zombie's 31. He's a pretty essential character in the upcoming 3 from Hell, and he is the star in an upcoming horror film Candy Corn, Pancho Moler. Pancho was Sickhead in 31, and he is the ringmaster in Candy Corn, and then Three from Hell. He is an essential character. I don't know what else to say without giving stuff away. He, is prominent in all three of those films. He is a hell of a guy, and I'm stoked that I got to talk to him. So, without further ado, now with news and house cleaning and all that out of the way, let me bring in Pancho. Joining us right now on the podcast, you've seen him in 31. You're going to see him shortly in upcoming Halloween horror film Candy Corn, and then, of course, the next installment of Rob Zombie's Firefly Family Trilogy, Three from Hell. Mr. Pancho Moler, how you doing today, man?
Oh, man, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for calling me, and that was a really big hype right there. I love it. You did it right, man. I'm excited to be on the show, and yeah, I can't wait for your awesome questions. I know that you're a big-time horror fan, so I hope we can, I hope this can live up to its name, live up to the questions that you have to ask. I'm excited.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on, man, and huge fans of Rob Zombie and the films that he creates. And the first time that we saw you, in a zombie film, was Sickhead in 31. That character was so depraved, but yet you still had like this comical side about you. How was it working on that project?
Oh man, it was an absolute dream, like being able to work on Rob's films, just being able to be trusted like that with one of his with one of his projects as one of his main characters is awesome. He only uses he recycles his actors a lot because he trusts them. He builds a friendship with them, and he knows that they got range. And I was honored to be a part of that film and bring Sickhead to life in my own way. I made my choice was to make Murder World my playground.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you got the comic relief out of it. It's just he was a maniac. He was out of control maniac, very spontaneous, very just out of his mind. So it wasn't hard to do, and with Rob's direction, we were able to go in the right way, and just in a very disturbing yet just three-dimensional character as well. Because sometimes it's hard to do.
Yeah, you in that movie too. Obviously you hit on the head by saying he was a psychopath, but you do have a lot of range because he's almost schizophrenic, where your emotions change so much as you're taunting your victim. It was a trip to sit there and watch, man.
Oh, thank you.
Did you get any, heads up on the character design of him? Or did you just
No, I got a full on heads up. It was kind of funny when I went to the fitting. I just read for this movie, and it was just for to be a killer clown. I had no idea it was even a Rob Zombie film. Then I booked it, found out it was a Rob Zombie film. Very excited, going for the fitting. For just thinking it's they're going to create some. Rob's going to create some cool clown. I meet him. He's like, it's either this outfit or this outfit. And the first outfit was actually Death's Head's outfit, which was the one with the tutu.
Uh-huh.
Torsten Bogues played that. And then he's like, or it's this outfit. And I was like, it's up to you, man. He's like, and he chose the Nazi Hitler clown outfit. But at the same time, I was kind of skeptical about playing a character that's so hated, especially in the world with things that have happened and the chaos that Hitler created, So I just kind of had to trust Rob and just accept the fact that what an opportunity to get to play an impersonated character that was one of the most biggest killers of all time, And so that's when I kind of was able to accept it and really put myself in that role.
It's funny that you call our Murder World your playground, because that it really was like this underground labyrinth, and then of course you got Malcolm McDowell seemingly above what's going on in that theater and everything. That was a true to form Rob Zombie movie, man. And you're coming up now on the release here in just another week of what very, at all the franchises he's kind of developed and the characters he's developed, the Firefly family really is the masterpiece, I believe, for him cinematically. And now you get to be a role, and no spoilers as to what your role exactly is, but how rad was it to work with that crew?
Oh man, it was. I mean, the first day of shooting, I'm on set with Bill Moseley. That's who I have my scenes with, because nothing's ever shot in order when you're shooting movies, and that's who my scenes are with. And it was just kind of a very surreal experience to walk into that set and be working with somebody that you've looked up to almost not your whole life, but since you started watching horror movies. And and he was such a nice guy, in real life. But then when he transforms into Otis, he becomes a maniac, and it was just awesome to, as talent on there, I'm also on there to learn, from all these people that I get to work with, the pleasure of working with. And so I was doing that at the same time, and I was just, in my head, I was like, this is amazing. Holy shit, I can't believe he made that choice. That was rad. I could use that in the future. So time I'm working with these guys and trying to give it all I can, I'm there for them. I'm there to make them look good. They're doing the same thing for me, and that's when you have a good collaboration,
Yeah, for sure. And I think that this film really, Devil's Rejects was kind of like an eye-opening as to where that character can go. But this film, him and Sherry Moon, both, it was just, it felt like it was on another level. And then...
Were you able to see the film?
Yeah, no, they sent me a screener.
Awesome. I haven't seen the film yet, so I'm excited. But yeah, I read the scripts. I go, well, who all's in it? So I'm just, I'm stoked that you're saying this about it, because I can't wait to see it.
No, that's crazy to know. You haven't got to check it out. Got to check it out yet? The film, yeah, it is wonderful, man. The fact that it's kind of like two stories turned into one, and then when we see your story develop and the group that was at your shooting location for that whole arc, it really was. It was. I think it's my favorite of the three, honestly.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome, man! I can't wait. Usually, with films, you get to go do the ADR for them, and then you get to see what clips they kept, what they cut, and now with the way technology has how far advanced it is, you don't really have to do ADR that much no more. The sound quality is there, and the booms are more high tech, and everything is just where they're trying that they can avoid that and still make it look good. So I don't know what's there, what's not, but from some of the people that have told me, they're like, you're going to be stoked, man. So just to hear you say that, I can't wait. I'm excited.
No, it's pretty. It shines a new light on those characters while adding new characters to it. But it's awesome, buddy. Congratulations on that one, and congratulations on this new film. Epic Pictures, when they sent the screener, when we knew that we were going to get to talk to you, they were saying the whole press embargo thing, but they were asking for quotes after watching Candy Corn. And my first reaction to that is that film has all the components to be part of the yearly Halloween rotation of movies that you and friends and Halloween Party will sit down and watch. It's got you as the cool character that's kind of the catalyst to what makes the monster. It's got a cool monster, and then it's got a cool supporting cast with that are around, and then the setting is like this homage to Carpenter's Halloween in the town. That film had to just be like a retro tribute for you, I would imagine.
Oh man, yeah, it was. It started off as a passion project about like 3.5 years ago. After I met Josh Hasty on the making of 31, he did the documentary "In Hell Everybody Loves Popcorn," and we just became really great friends throughout the years from that. And he's just a genius at work. And he wrote this film, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I don't know when we're going to be able to shoot this, but we can start shooting little sizzles and try to create a hype for it and maybe raise some money, and then we can keep going." And that's definitely what happened. And after a while, we were able to find someone to finance the whole film, and we were able to shoot the whole thing, you know. And then we got great distribution through Epic Pictures, which really believed in Josh, believed in our film. And now we're where we're at. You know, the beauty of this film, it was done as a passion project, but it was done amongst friends. You know, like all these guys are going to be my friends for life. And now to know that this film became bigger than us, like it's just a dream come true for anybody.
So with that one, where you get to be such an essential character in there. How fun was that? Because you have your troupe that you're with, and I'm like trying to use my words carefully as to not spoil anything, but you have a really cool setting, and then that monster design that makes itself known. It's so unique in the sense that it kind of pays homage to horror of 20, 30 years ago, where you have this monster coming back almost like in a Voorhees-esque style, but he looks and moves nothing like Voorhees. How was that, just shooting, being on set and everything? That must have been a blast.
I mean, with low budget films like this, you get to you have a script, and I've had the script for like years and years and years. Like I said, it took us a long time to shoot it, and it only took like 3 months to edit because Josh is such a genius. He's just a jack of all trades. But I was on set like in with my dialogue and my parts that I had, but as far as everything else, you can only imagine what the other actors are going to do. I had no idea of certain things of the choices they were going to make, and then in the final edit, and John, I had no idea that Jacob was going to play the part to be a bit slower, without giving any spoilers. And so that made it even more effective, for my character having so much love for him, and then fighting against being bullied. I've been bullied my whole entire life, excuse my French. And so I know what that's like. I know what that's like to overcome, and I know what it's like to hold something in that you always wanted to say, and you've never gotten a chance to say it. And so bringing that into Dr. Death's character was just an eye-opener for me, and it was just a life-changing moment for me as well. And it was a breakthrough for me, as I should say, in the acting world. So I love that part about it, and I love that nostalgia about the film and about the period piece of it, and it's just such a respect to horror in general.
No, I completely agree with you. It's interesting that you brought up the fact that his character, while Dr. Depp's character, he brings this monster to life. The genuine emotion that you brought into it, because you can tell that he does care about Jacob, and the fact that you have been bullied. And people can be cruel. I mean, I've been a victim of bullies when I was growing up through high school. And then you turn around and you're an adult, and 9 times out of 10, you're better off than the bully in the first place, but it's still, you have that scar that wants to say, screw you to that person.
Oh yeah.
But you do get that about Dr. Death, and the reason as to why he picks Jacob and the reason why he does what he does, and that's conveyed. It's not even kind of conveyed. It's conveyed. If you're a fan of film, you will get Pancho's performance. So I congratulate you on that one too, man.
Thank you. You know what's funny is with all that said, when we did the first screening, I was just at Horror Hound, Indiana, about like 6 months ago, and it was like a screening in one of those conventions where it's not really a movie theater, but they put a screen up there. We had some people in there. The sound wasn't that great, but a lot of the things that I got the next day was, it made me cry when, they were beating this kid up that's like slower, and the way they were calling him retard, and the way that Dr. Death, brought him into his world and this and that, because I grew up with, my younger brothers, my nephew is this, and I've seen them bullied, and so it really made me be on your side for having such a kind heart in that way. And I was like, that really touched me because, I wasn't, at no point, like I said, it's the way it's edited, but it's the choice that you made that will bring this character to life and how it's going to be effective to you that is going to make it work, or it's not, So I was really affected by that, and that made me even more because it wasn't a thing that I thought about in the moment,
Definitely. What was it, man? Because you sound like you have been a horror fan for most of your life. What film was it that got you into the genre?
I mean, I was a fan of all the Michael Myers, the Halloweens. I was a really big fan of Zombies' first Halloween. I was a fan of The Shining. I've been a fan of Exorcism is what was it for me. It just scared the living hell out of me, and I saw it at such a young age. Mm-hmm. It's just something about being able to just be affected by something and where you're so scared that you're willing to not sleep in your bed but sleep on the floor in your parents' room. That must have a real big effect and be uncomfortable like that. That always gets me. I'm like, why am I watching this to go tonight? I'm going to go sleep on my parents' floor in the room, when I was a little kid. Yeah. I'm like, so why am I putting myself through it? And then it would just be like, I don't care why. I need to see this,
Yeah. What is it that scares you the most? Are you a possession? Does that freak you out the most versus like a Michael Myers in general?
I think I'm more scared of just known. Scared of I'm being unpredictable, not knowing something's gonna happen and not even thinking about it, then it happens. That's kind of what I'm more scared of. More monster-like things. I mean, maybe some paranormal stuff, but most monsters.
I got you. Do you have a favorite monster that you rooted for in general? Was there a callback to something like Frankenstein or anything that you prefer over the other ones?
You know what? I mean, I always rooted for the Joker. I know that's not in this world, it's in the comic world, but I always liked the Joker. I mean, because everything was funny to him. He had a super dark background, and the fact that he has more to live for because he can be killed, I always rooted for that. It was I just like that darkness. That's kind of who I root for,
It's interesting that you bring him up because he was one of my favorite characters as well, just because of.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
No.
Awesome.
No, he. Nicholson, of course, and then Ledger, but Mark Hamill in the cartoon, man, he did that whole split, glass shattering mindset so well with his voice acting. Joker's a dope character. And he
definitely is.
And he's a clown, coincidentally.
No, I know. That's true. That is true.
When you're on set with these guys, whether it be Candy Corn or on one of Rob Zombie's projects, one of the things that we have a guest that'll come on every once in a while, and they'll tell like a good story about, whether it being like a prank or practical joke, or in some cases when you have like costume designs similar to the ones that Rob Zombie does, like in between takes or something, they'll set up like a scare and scare the hell out of one of the co-stars or something. Was there anything like that you guys, when you're not on camera and you kind of got some time to kill, did you guys ever set anything like that up?
No, more so, I mean, for Candy Corn, like the kids, or not the kids, but the bullies, they were really scared of Jacob's mask. Like whenever he would have it on, they would not want to be in the same room. It just crept them out. And so that was kind of funny. Like, I was like, it's just a mask, but everybody's different, everybody's scared of different things. And so it was kind of funny to see that. And I was also like blown away by that, because I just kept thinking, I'm like, man, if these guys are scared of the mask, and this, I mean, they're just normal people. I'm like, I wonder like what like the fans are going to be like, I wonder if like if most people are going to feel this way, and I hope they do, So that kind of was like the exciting part for me, to like kind of watch all this stuff unfold.
How was Jacob's mask in person? Because it looks gnarly as hell on the screen. When they're actually applying that to him, and he's a foot away from you, I gotta imagine he is pretty scary looking.
Yeah, no, the mask was. I mean, there was 3 different masks. There was like the beginning mask that was kind of like the like unfolding, unfolding the mask for the first time that you haven't used it in years. So it was very withered. It was very dusty. I had no blood on it, and then it was like the medium mask, like the in between mask that it had it had some kills under it, and then it's like the last mask that they use, which is just like, that's after Jacob's been through hell and back, and he just needs more blood, more and more blood, and that was the freakiest mask. So there was 3 masks altogether. And I'm allowed to say that because I heard Josh say it on a different podcast. That was good. Yeah. So it was kind of cool to see that, like the mask as they went.
Do you with that when you're doing that in that trailer, when you pull out the first mask and everything, it's almost like the mask. It reminds me of the mask with Jim Carrey. Like it almost looks dead, and then once Jacob, finds the mask, it's like this living entity type of a thing. When you guys were developing that story, do you know where he kind of like conjured that whole monster up from?
That's something you would have to ask Josh. Like I don't want to butcher it and like what I think it would be, but yeah. I mean, that's definitely a question for Josh. I just kind of was there to do this ritual and make it as real as possible. And that's it. And have everything that I was feeling in the moment just come into the mask, and have the mask slowly come to life with Jacob, as Jacob comes to life as well.
How was it? Because
with the darkness and everything.
No, yeah. And how was it? Because we haven't even mentioned his name yet. working with a guy like Tony Todd?
Oh my goodness. Like the choice that he made, how to play the character, made it so much easier for me to work with that, because you know, you never know what someone's going to do. Like I said, you just got to trust each other. And I've looked up to that guy forever. And I mean, that guy's been a horror icon since I was born. And just to be able to, like, you know, work aside him as, like, you know, as it was just wonderful. Like we wouldn't really rehearse too much, but we would really talk about our characters and talk about our relationship. And then the rehearsals would come in as, like, the takes are coming in, you know? So it was really neat to see that and watch Tony Todd, like, be there for me as, like, a supporting character, but also as a worker. Like, he takes it really, he's a method actor just like me. So he made some really bold, strong choices, and it made it, and with the, like I said, with the way he decided to play the character, it made it easy for me to kind of father him, if that makes any sense, as this Dr. Death character that is running the whole show, you know?
Mm-hmm. He is kind of like this character where he knows, like, the two of you have been in partnership or at least in business together for a long time. Did you guys, and that comes through in the film a lot, did you guys, like, get to know each other pretty well before shooting, or did you take some time to kind of, like, to BS to kind of get that comfortability with each other?
Yeah, no, we definitely did. Like, there was a few times where we met up at, like, Coffee Bean and stuff, and we just kind of had the script in our hand, and we talked about, like, our character breakdowns, like, what's our relationship together? Like, who are we? How did we meet? You know, we came up with some ideas for all of that to make it, you know, more friendly, like, make it also seem like there was something there and there was a history between us, and that's kind of the basic idea. He told me some movies to watch, you know, to help me out, my character and whatnot, and it was really cool to, like, you know, talk about that and deal with an actor that is just so seasoned, you know, because you're going to take everything he tells you and you're going to do it, because if anything, you're going to learn from it. And I can now say that Tony Todd told me to do this, and it worked, you know. So we definitely got together a few times and talked about our characters, our relationship, and who we were. And but we didn't rehearse any of our lines or any of that together. That was just left for the stage. Like, there's some people, all the actors are different. Some of them like to rehearse lines and run them. He, I believe, is one of those guys that just likes to let it happen as it happens and in the moment, and nothing. Even though we know our lines and we're saying these lines to each other, everything should come out, and the reaction should be for the first time, you know. So that's how we work together, and that was really awesome to do, because that's such a trust that you have to have in each other. And that also develops a trust.
Yeah, no,
amongst each other.
I can say that in doing, you know, independent films and student films and stuff like that, where you don't necessarily have you know, money to pay, you're paying with, you know, trade, or they're just volunteering because they want to be part of something. Like, the trust that you build with someone on a project like that is instrumental. So I can imagine when it's a major motion picture, you know, product, and you know, time is money, and you're there to complete, you know, something, a feature-length film that, you know, knock on wood, millions of people are going to see. If you don't have the trust on set, that's, you know, your glass is already, it's not even half empty, it's 3/4 of the way empty. And if you do, then it's already running over. So it's I can imagine working with somebody like that where you have like a rapport with is awesome.
Yeah, no, it was an unbelievable experience, something I'll never forget, you know.
Do you foresee yourself working with Rob Zombie again here down the line? You've done so much with him already.
I believe I will. I'm not sure what other projects he has in mind, but I'd like to believe I will. I know that on this film, it was a straight offer. After working with me on 31, he offered me the role of Sebastian and also said, I want to see if you can show me your range. This is a complete different character, complete opposite of what Sickhead was. I want to see what you can do. And then after we shot it all, he sent me a beautiful email congratulating me and saying that it was a wonderful performance and you pulled it off, and I can't wait for you to see it, you know? So that, with all that said, I believe I did my job. I also felt that I did it. You know, sometimes you can feel it. You feel it just when you go into a room and you audition for something. You know when you weren't in the moment, when it wasn't working, but you also know when I don't have to see it, I felt it. I felt it. And if you feel it, then other people are going to feel it as well. And Rob brought some stuff out of me that I truly am grateful for, and I'm so happy that he involved me in this follow-up to such an amazing franchise. What a great opportunity, and he trusted me, and we just trusted each other to come up and bring something beautiful, some magic to the film, you know?
What is the one film, if you could do like your dream scary movie that you conjure up, or you have somebody else, maybe they write it for you, but it's more in this certain vein? Is there like a certain subgenre of horror film that you want to do that would just be like, oh man, I'm finally getting to do this kind of a horror film?
Well, I can't think of that's a really good question, and I don't have an answer for you as opposed to what kind of horror film I would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have an idea of what I've always wanted to do, and even some of the fans have posted up something. I always wanted to do a prequel to the origin of Sickhead. That's what I always wanted to do. Because I think that I have an amazing idea for it. I haven't written it. It's just all in my head. And I think it would be awesome. It would be historical, just really, and that's what I've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
But as far as a movie of what kind of horror film I would want to do, I haven't.
I backed it up here. Well, Pancho, man, you have definitely built up your brand, and you have done a fantastic job of giving horror fans a show and letting people know that you are in the horror scene, my friend. Your characters that I have been able to see, Sickhead, Dr. Death, and your performance in 31, they're all unique, but they're all equally awesome. So I congratulate you on everything that you've been able to do, and I look forward to seeing what you can do down the road, man. And we will have to get you back on at some point.
Thank you so much for your kind words, and can't wait to see this interview, and I appreciate this, man.
So there you go, man. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Pancho. Coming up later this week, Nerdageddon back on the air. Now we are going with Silicon Valley Comic-Con, news and updates, our coverage, I should say, not news and updates. But that was a fun event, and now we will have a couple interviews from the guys from Legion M this week. Next week we will have Stone Cold Steve Austin on that show, and then the Weasley brothers. So 3 weeks of cool content from Silicon Valley Comic Con. Looking forward to sharing that one with you. Also, this week we will have our Friday the 13th episode of Screening Room. So, 2 more podcasts coming at you this week. I hope you will enjoy all of them. And I thank you very much for listening to this one. Take care. Have a spooky week, everybody.